since I was speaking, I decided maybe let's go on to the equity bit. So, equity, uh, I mean, other finance influencers will tell you, they would have already explained you what is equity. You have a certain ownership stake, that's all equity is. How it works in the balance sheet now, if your business is a finance guy's business. If you want to know, of course, maybe I'll discuss it in the future, things like that. But I mean, that's just the details of how record and bookkeeping is done, simply for law purposes, and money can be traced very easily. So important for the banks and for the government to know how and where the money is going. That's all. You don't need to know how it works. What you need to know is how equity works in a practical sense. So how it works is you have these. You let's say buy a house. So your equity is the cash you put in, and the debt is the debt you take. So equity is the money you put in, and equity is the you know ownership of the companies. Ownership not just of a company, it could be an NGO, it could be anything that has an equity. It simply means that this guy or corporation or entity, government, XYZ, owns X percentage of your thing. That's simply as simple as that. Let's say you buy a cake, you have to share it with your brother's birthday or sister, then there's a probably higher chance that you guys split 50-50, and then it's like half of your equity is with your brother or sister and half of it is with you. So that sort of thing. And let's say it's not a cake, it's chocolates, it's noodles, it's simply dinner, anything. So or car. So you know equity exists in everything, and you can use it not just how people see that you should use it. That is standard valuation gains that people pay. Uh, you can also use it to give other people a piece of your pie for the value that will exchange. So your job when you're a founder is to always check that the value you get either through capital, advice, network, tech, IP, just just about anything, or just simply refinancing. You convert that to equity. All those things should have a higher value than the price you're paying. So the price you're paying is simply your equity right now times the percentage that you pay. Or I mean, you can also calculate in a different way. That is how much percentage the guy has. If you're issuing new shares and not converting your old ones, how much percent equity the guy has. Uh, Divided by 100% plus X percent that you're giving up. So that shows that the pie is changing. The pie is going smaller for everybody else in a way, and you know uh, hopefully that the value of the pie also increases since you're issuing new shares, so it gets balanced by the assets. And for everybody the percentage or the amount of equity they're owning is the same, but the guy gets new kind of share. So you just need to figure out the share that you're giving of the cake is greater than the value, is less than the value, sorry, that you're getting. You need to figure out these things when you're doing equity. Now, how you do equity is simple. How bankers do it, how everybody does it. There are different valuation techniques. So you do enterprise value, revenue, or whatever the subscription, data centers, power use, any kind of thing, and that can yield better results. Valuation is not your aim, or maybe I'll discuss it in the future. I want you to notice that equity is also not as sacred as other people point out, simply because you can buy back equity. It's not that once given it's gone. You can buy it back. I mean, and you do not need to thinking how the market works. It doesn't work always in an ascending way or descending way. How it works? It works through pros and crests, so up and down. So when it goes up, of course, you can issue equity. When it goes down, you can always buy back equity. That's what people do. Now, up, what happens is your market power, your value of the company is high. People will pay high price simply because everything in the market is expensive, it's growing in value, and you need to give a smaller piece of your pie for a larger chunk, for a for a larger chunk of money or asset or whatever you receive in exchange for it. In the downside, what happens is the market's going down, so everything is getting discounted. So what happens? You have to give a larger piece of your pie for smaller value return and things like that. That's how market thinks. So what you can do is simple. Now when it's going down, you exchange the pie that you had already given, a larger chunk of the pie that you had already given as compared to what you would exchange when it was on the top. So when it's down versus when it's on the top, you have to give a larger, you can take back a larger chunk of the pie when the market is down. And that's how buybacks work, not just equity. Again, any kind of thing works like that. So you have to be very cautious in the management of finance, because a company does not run on innovation, does not run on the customers distribution or whatever USPs you have. It runs at least 80% on financing and how you believe how financing should work. So be very careful with that. Thank you.